Hello and welcome. Welcome to this live of Living with Intention. I am April Wyatt, if you're not familiar with me, and I am a holistic health coach. And you might be kind of scratching your head of why is a holistic health coach and wellness guide talking about AI? Well, I love expanding the box of traditional wellness. As maybe you've tuned in and watched Beverly and Tim talking about healing for wounds and the leading technology for that. That involves AI, as just as Dr. Jeffrey Berger and John will be talking about their connections with AI. And I want to just explain a little bit more, AI and all the things that is happening in the world right now. I always bring it back to me, and AI for me is April's intelligence, April's intuition. So that really bringing it back to ourselves first, knowing that we are the driving force. This technology would not exist without us. And so it's not here to replace us. It is here to help expand what's possible, help us to design our lives and feel more aligned in the process, and also enhance our skill sets, as John will talk about. And that way we can focus on what really matters, and that's us. So even with this amazing technology that we have, we still have these human bodies. Yes. And they're miraculous and powerful, although we need to take care of our bodies. So we cannot forget to give back to ourselves. And AI can make our lives run a little bit easier and smoother, but just like anything else, what works best is tuning into our bodies. And so this is why I am here talking about a Bali retreat. I want to share this with you. It's a Bali retreat that's coming up. And this is an amazing experience because it helps to center you. It helps to create a space where we can pause and reset and connect to ourselves. And me and my co-host, Brian Cochran, will support people through the biodynamic breath work and trauma release system, through Osho meditation. So it's not a stillness meditation. Our minds are constantly thinking, and some people can't sit still, and that's okay. So we invite Osho. So it's movement with music and the breath that really shifts things for us. And this Bali retreat, I invite people to step away from that constant noise. Remember what it feels like to be present and create from a space of clarity and intention. And so this is what's behind this week's live that we're going to be talking about. And before I go on, I just want to share a quick video clip from what we recorded from previous Bali experience back in November. It's just magical. I'm just going to share it just really quick here. It'll play. I know it can play. Come on. This is what happens.
This is where we can come together to find that space for expansion within ourselves.
It's so rare to meet so many beautiful strangers, to sing with them, to dance with them, to laugh with them, to cry, to release so much baggage, challenges and limiting beliefs and fears, and bond and share stories. I've never experienced anything like this before. It's just a really touching, magical experience that I'll never forget.
It's been an experience, it's been an adventure, it's been emotional, it's been so full of love and gratitude. Yeah.
The most transformative part for me this week has been, hands down,
Well, I guess I'm going to remove that because things are glitchy here and we want to get to our guests. And I'm going to bring up the amazing Dr. Jeffrey Berger and John Kirkhoff. Yes, welcome, friends.
Hey, April.
So much
Hey,
for
John.
being here. I so appreciate you.
Hello. Thank you for having me, and hello, Dr. Berger.
Hello, John. Thank you, April.
Yeah, it's fun to bring up fellow hounds. And speaking of fellow hounds, I think we have some in the chat here, and it is just an amazing community. Speaking of co-creation and wellness, as you know, we connect with like-minded people, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, obviously, as long as you have that intention of learning from each other and know how we can reciprocate, how we can level each other up, as Dr. CJ talks about. And so, of course, we have a Hounds of Business here and the big dog himself, Mike. Thank you so much, Mike, for tuning in and being here with us today. It's just exciting for us to be able to expand the collective consciousness about AI. It's so important right now. And so let's get into it. Let's just start chatting a little bit. But first, I want you to just share a little bit about you and what you want our audience to know about you, and then how you're supporting others with AI technology. So I'll go with John first. John, if you wouldn't mind
No pressure, right?
sharing.
No pressure. All right. So, really for me, I want people to approach AI more as a collaborative tool than an object, right? I think we start seeing a lot of people using AI and they're utilizing AI, but they're kind of utilizing it in that primitive way for kind of just basic information, basic tasking, stuff like that. When really we're at the forefront of a, dare I say, future glitch here, right? When you start thinking like how the internet became a thing, when computers were just now getting into the household, we're kind of at that same cusp, but now with AI. So it's going to be not about how you use it per se, but how you leverage it. And, so I'm trying to get people to understand that this is more than just that tool. It's a leveraging thing, and it's going to change the way business works. And you hear people getting kind of worked up. Oh, AI is going to replace me. It's going to take my job. Actually, no, it's just really going to shift things. And if you know how to leverage that AI, you're more primed to be going with the flow and building that next wave of technology, that next wave of business, and that next wave of just how we do things. And so that's what I really try to impress on people, and I try to take them down that skill set road. And of course, for those who know me, all my veterans and all the things I do with veterans, I'm utilizing that tool for them as well. So it's just all around leveraging it to enhance mankind, not make the Terminator scenario.
I appreciate you bringing that up about the fear of losing jobs and taking over, and especially you working with veterans, John. And we'll get into that in just a bit. Although it's really important for people to understand, again, as I said in the very beginning, this is just an extension of us. It's a tool to be used, and it's for change. People resist change. And it might shift some jobs, yes, although that's inviting us to grow and to trust in there's something more for us here. And speaking of growth, I'm going to bring up Dr. Jeffrey here, who is amazing. Thank you, Dr. Jeffrey, for being here with us today.
Thanks, April. Really, really excited about today's podcast and sharing the stage with you and John. John really did hit it on the nail with regards to collaborative tool, leverage. This is really, we're in a paradigm shift today. And it's been going on for a little bit, but the majority are not really aware of it. And the idea here is that John talked about before computers, and I'm an ex-software engineer. And the way I look at this is decades ago, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon introduced their technologies. And there were a lot of people who saw a vision back then. And that's exactly where we are today. We've gone from the WW to the W3, 4, 5. So we're in blockchain technology. And this is where the future is. They've already started to make that paradigm shift now. And people will be, if they remain stagnant, they're going to be left behind, because in 3 to 5 to 10 years, everything is going to shift. And the idea is, just like when you started with Microsoft and Excel, a very, very basic spreadsheet. And what does it do today? It runs macros and automation and all kinds of things. The same thing is happening today. We're developing that platform along with AI. It has so many opportunities for people to utilize that tool and really become an extension of who they are and what they are and what they want to do and what they want to share for the betterment of humanity, because this is what it's all about, is bringing collaboration together where we each have our own unique experiences, and we want to share that with the world because we have that opportunity now. And what can we do to make that little change that will take that individual from a personal or a business perspective up to the next level, to the next level, to the next level? So I'm excited. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. And I love that you're talking about to the next level, because that's all we're doing in life.
Yeah.
Just getting ready to get ready to get ready. And as you said so perfectly, Dr. Jeffrey, about people who are resistant. The more you resist, the more things persist, the more challenging it becomes. And when we can be in that space of, I'm curious. I'm curious, how can this help me? How can this support me? I don't know everything, so connecting with you, Dr. Jeffrey, about all the blockchain, the mining, all of that type of technology. And then John, veterans, connecting with you about different job aspects and how they can expand their skill sets. It's simply truly phenomenal. It really is. So let's get into the weeds of that. John, okay, so first, was AI like your first thing that you'd go to? Like, were you AI savvy in the beginning? Was this something that you were like, oh yeah, I'm an AI guy and I know all about this? How did that come to fruition for you?
So I was actually fortunate enough. I got to experiment a little bit with AI in the Army before it kind of became mainstream, before like ChatGPT was really released out there. And so, just like blockchain technology, a lot of this technology kind of starts in the military industrial complex, and then different versions are released out to the public. And so kind of already having that mindset there, just utilizing that and how we streamline things and how really the military is using it as a processing tool, right? It wasn't to say like, how do I make these death robots like people think with Terminator? It's really like, how do we leverage this to push information faster, to shape the battlefield, to shape the way we operate and conduct business, really. And that's kind of how it started, at least on that side of the house. So it was very utilizing that and thinking through those mindset problems. And then, right, we used the best case study about emerging technology when we were thinking about this. We used the whole Netflix Blockbuster scenario, right? So, for those who know that history, Netflix tried to, get Blockbuster to buy them. And Blockbuster's like, no one's going to go away from movie rentals. And, in less than 5 years, you saw what happened with that. So you start seeing those kind of situations. And we said, how do we leverage that? And how do we put that on the cusp? So from there, it's just been, how do we invent the next wave of AI to do these bigger, better things? And, just like Dr. Berger said, right, it's that technology and everything, you talk the blockchain, you talk the Bitcoin, like really the value's in that blockchain and everything the blockchain does and that technology behind it. And that, that is the future. People were afraid of computers in the home. Look at you now. I mean, anyone who's got a smartphone, right? You're carrying it in your pocket. This thing is more powerful than your 1999 computer. So it's, you have to be ready for it and you have to embrace it, not shy away from it.
Exactly. I see you leaning in, Jeff. Yes. What do you
Yeah.
have to share? I know this is going to be a very stimulating conversation, so let's keep it going.
Yeah, so John is right, and initially, to be 100% transparent, I do my best to keep it that way. Where in the beginning, when AI was coming out, I was against it. Why? Because again, I was unfamiliar with the space, and then obviously over time, throughout my journey since 2018, coming off of medications, going holistic, it's about exploration. It's about getting educated, because I grew up in a society where the baby boomers were taught to go to school, get an education, and go be a robot for corporate America, and don't think for yourself. That's changed. So it allowed me to step into that uncomfortable zone and get that information. And now it's really, it's a very powerful tool in many respects. And there's some pros and cons with anything. But what I have been finding is that one of the projects I'm involved with, it's allowing individuals to be creative and helping them learn and really explore some of the true information that is out there. Because I believe that in my heart of hearts is that our school systems are really not, providing good teaching techniques with students. They want more. They want to explore. They want individuality. They want to be able to experiment. They want to, again, we use that word level up. And when you're going to school, you're on a certain curriculum, and that's all you can do. You can't go up. You can't go up. So I see a lot of benefits for AI right now. Oh my gosh, there are so many tools out there. It's just it's it's like when they say with the song, "It's raining men, it's raining AI," and it's just coming. And it's like, oh my gosh, should I try this one? Should I try that one? And take a step back and kind of evaluate what is your purpose and what kind of AI are you looking at to help you level up, and then go and start getting educated from that perspective.
Exactly. And it's asking us to level up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not just using it verbatim, just with intention,
Yes.
with respect, with what, even asking ourselves, how am I using this? What is the outcome that I want from this? Whatever AI platform you're using, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it is, as John will share about the work with AI technology with the veterans and blockchain and all of that. Really, what do we want? We want more freedom. We want to feel at ease.
Right.
And this is how it is showing up for us, although we get to choose.
Absolutely.
And then I just want to also remind, a gentle reminder here, even the AI technology, I think people aren't aware of even the social constructs and social media and other platforms, right? And how are they using the algorithms and things to create more chaos, more confusion about it, because then people won't be interested in it. They see it as a negative. They see it as that type of thing, instead of, oh, I'm curious about this. I don't really know exactly. Why focus on one source? Connect with somebody who's using it. Connect with somebody like Jeff and John, who are building communities, who are enhancing people's lives by this amazing extension called AI. And instead of just being in fear or in apprehension of that, because the movies, just as John said, the Terminator stuff, right? They just threw that out there. It's just like Jaws. Jun, 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 jun,
Right.
I'm not going in that water. So be curious. Yeah, because really curiosity Curiosity is the key with anything, to help ease, to help release any apprehensions that we have. And it's so important to just be in that curious space.
Oh,
As,
April, I love how you put that because it is a good time, especially right now, to be curious with AI. There's so many free models out there. There's so many different ways you could experiment, and like I said, a lot of it being free. I always encourage people pull up a few of the different ones. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, get the free platforms, and utilize them and kind of work on your prompts and figure it out and give each one the same prompt and see how they give it pull out different information and how it kind of shapes what it's giving you and the best thing I tell people is like the best thing you could do with AI when you're doing that is also tell AI to give you its source. How did you deduce that? How did you come up with that conclusion, or what sources did you use for that? Just like anyone who's gone to college, right? You always had to put your sources in your papers. It's the same thing, and now you can sort of see it's getting your mind wrapped around how this AI thinks, operates, and where it pulls source from. And then you're able to really kind of understand its uses. And then as you grow, just like learning software, just like when you learned computers and Microsoft and Word and Excel and all those things, you had to learn it at some point. It's the same thing here. But then when you get to understand it, and each one is actually a little bit different. And I tell my guys as they start advancing through the little courses is that hey, Chat GPT, and this is just my perspective on it and how I put it out there is Chat GPT is really great for creative things, but Claude is really really good for in-depth, detailed, almost like legal documentation stuff. It deduces information differently at a different level. And so it's when you start realizing that aspect and how these were programmed and how they think, then you could realize how you leverage them and which tools are appropriate for the job. Anything could be a hammer if everything's a nail. I'm guilty of it, doing house repairs. I've used the back of my drill bit as a hammer, but it's not the best tool for what you're trying to do. So leading into what you said earlier, April, if you have intention with it, you know where you're going with it, and then you just grow and level up those skills.
yes, I'm curious. I saw Jeff just nodding away over there. What do you have to contribute here?
All excellent points from John, and this is an exploratory time that people can get out there. And what I love about what I've been learning using the different AIs is that it's really picking up my traits and my personality, but it's also I ask it, well, how can I improve this, and how can I make changes, and what can I do to advance myself? So it's really throwing out some really great training information for me as from a personal and as well as a professional level, and things that I never even thought about, making some minor changes and little tweaks here and there, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that. So I find that that's a very creative aspect of this whole AI industry, and being able to adapt that. And I think it's just going to get better and better for individuals. Plus, it's going to allow people to be really, really creative in creating their own inventions and creating their own, courses and ebooks and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, just as Lisa, I just put her comment up here. Lisa Paus, thank you so much. She says GPT is helping me with my personal budget. I paid off 2 credit cards and I'm saving money all over the place while also remodeling my kitchen. It also helped me design a kitchen and preparing to take bids for adding an apartment remodel from the carport. You go, girl. You go, Lisa.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here with us, Lisa, and adding that comment. I want people to put comments in there. I want you to ask questions, even the tough questions. Even if you're like, I don't know about this. This kind of sounds sketchy to me. I know Ginny, she's a dear friend of mine, and she might even have a question like that for us. So Ginny, please feel free to put something in there. We want to kind of push the boundaries here, because This is what these lives are all about too. You have two amazing experts here that have knowledge and know what they're talking about. Yeah. So, speaking of that, with the knowledge, John, I want you to go a little bit more into your program about how you're helping veterans and expanding their skill sets with AI. What does that look like? Because my husband's also a veteran. He served for 26 years. I was along the ride for the ride for 24, and I just find it fascinating that they're it's still continuing to grow and expand. Everyone, right? Just not veterans, but I love the aspect of what you're doing.
So yeah, with my veterans, the first thing I have to tackle with them is the stigma that we're stuck to a few jobs and we leave the military, right? It's a common bias and a common misconception in veterans that we either do the same job we did in the military in the workforce, or
Mm.
you become a project manager, or you go into law enforcement. I said, guys, no, like when we transition out, it's almost like a fresh start for us. Yeah, if you want to do those things, hey, I'm not here to tell you no. But if you don't, you want something new, this is that prime time. This is these tools that can help you get there. And when you start pulling, like, okay, what do you really want to do? I have a partner with a group called Talent Thrive, and we could build personal profiles based on your interest and skill sets now, and then give you the courses, the different videos you could watch, books to read and stuff to enhance those levels or to start learning that new skill set. Now, I'm going to shape AI in a different way, the way we learn. What if, all right, here's your hypothetical, and I can't wait to hear the doctor's take on this. What if I could build you a learning system that will teach you anything through AI based on how you receive information? So in real time, you're like, oh, I want to learn about, I'll just throw something crazy out there, thermodynamics. And this thing will already have your base level of where to start based on your knowledge. And then it's going to change the way it teaches you in real time based on how you're receiving the information and how you're engaging. So if it's realizing you're picking up on visuals, it'll use more visuals. If it realizes you're picking up more on audio cues, it's going to go and it'll adjust. It'll see you're tired. It could take your physical demeanor in there, and it will adjust how hard it is or how easy it is based on your interaction and how you're gaining. So those tools are coming into play. Oh, and by the way, people out there listening, that's that future business right there. That's how AI is going to start shaping the world. And that's just a minuscule thing that of the potential. So that's what I utilize it for with my veterans.
Yes, and it's just not
fun.
veterans, right? It's their families too, isn't it? That their families are also.
It's their families, their spouses, their kids, right? And it's getting that, and we build, building programs for them. And what better way to a better person to start than a child? Because now they can get longer experience. They can play with it. They're able to learn and grow, and kind of like the basis of school. You start with the base skill and you make it a little harder. It's the same thing, but now we can give them challenges. And I want to challenge schools like colleges out there. The way colleges pick up athletes, I want to challenge them. Let's do that with the future. Why don't we start giving these kids like, hey, I have a problem set for you. Let's see if you could solve it, and make it a fun thing that these kids get to engineer their own little things and then present it to the college. And what better way to get a scholarship than sitting for an SAT? And yep, I scored this on the SAT.
Right.
When I could give you a real world problem, see how kids think it through, learn those critical skills, that critical thinking, and then develop scholarships that way. So any colleges out there, I challenge you.
I absolutely love that idea, John, because SAT, right? That's like, it's going to be blown to the wayside. There's going to be a different way for kids to apply for college and to hone in on their skill sets. And then, even as I'm even saying this right now, it's typing in what they enjoy doing, what their hobbies were, what, things like that. And then it curtails to, oh, these types of jobs, instead of thinking, I want money, I'm going to be a lawyer or I'm going to be a doctor. And then they get in there and they're like, where the heck am I? I can't compute this. This doesn't work with me. I'm more hands-on, tactile, or, and so then it helps to streamline that. So that way it's easier. There's no big, huge bumps in the road or second guessing our own
Absolutely.
selves by making choices that maybe others were kind of pushing on us. So
Yeah.
as you talked about education, I know that Jeffrey has something in the future, though, something to share about AI technology in the classroom that's coming up. And then I want you to go into what you're focusing on now too, Jeffrey.
Sure. So yeah, John, you're absolutely correct with the AI and the students, and we do have this project here. It's DA1 ILM Versity and ILM Verse, and this is an AI. We're developing 5 continents in the metaverse. So it's a blockchain technology, and one of the continents is this ILM Verse, which is an educational component. It is already live in many schools, and I'm talking about grade schools, high schools, and colleges. And it's really introducing them to all aspects of being creative in the areas of expertise, chemistry or interest, I should say. Chemistry and programming and robotics and things like that. And we have individual virtual classrooms that are set up so they can go in and start experimenting and start creating and start developing things that they want to take to the next level and create something. Like you said, it's going to be, it's an SAT is not going to cut it in the future. It's going to be, what do they have to prove to come into college and get that scholarship? So it has really great success. It is a ecosystem that is accredited by Microsoft, Amazon Web Services. We won the Microsoft EdTech Educational Technology Award, and they did a 2-year
right?
collaboration with Google for the educational component, and we were written up in Forbes magazine. So that is a technology that is already out there and being utilized. How, what April was referring to, getting ready to launch, there is there's an opportunity to come in on the equity token, which is basically a share in the software. Just like people invested in Microsoft and Apple, they invested into their software programs. The same thing is happening today with the blockchain. So there is that opportunity as well. And because it's all about diversification, as I say up here, portfolio diversification, and we are in a different era, and we need to start looking at what are the on ground floor opportunities that you can get in, like those who did decades ago with Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon. Those opportunities are here today. And that's what I do, is really help those individuals, those busy individuals, navigate today's emerging technologies, who want to diversify their portfolio by introducing them to ground floor breaking opportunities. And it's all about educating them so they get comfortable, because for so long we've been, that information has been kind of pushed away, if you will. And that's just all has started to change in 2025. And more people are starting to explore that, realizing, oh my gosh, this is real, and this is the future. I need to hop on.
Yes. Yes. And just by you sharing that, Jeffrey, how we can shift the future, shift these with education, with how we're investing in ourselves and in the future as well. And also think about, I want everybody to pause right now. I was not born with a cell phone in my hand. That technology, that frequency, if we really want to get into it, had not evolved. It was there, but it didn't come into material form when I was born. So now these younger generations, you give them a phone and they're just like, oh, I can do that. Here you go. So this technology is already aligned with them. That's what I believe in. If you don't believe in that, that's okay too. Although it's so important to remember that this is how we're evolving. This is how we're expanding the collective consciousness. This is the human race evolving. Although Jenny has a very good point or a very good question, that I want to bring it up. And she's concerned about environmental concerns with AI. Her question is, what do you see as the solution in the near and long term
Mm.
with environmental concerns with AI? John, it looks like you might have some wisdom to share with Ginny. And
So,
thank you, Ginny, for asking.
Great
so
question.
yeah, it is a great question. And actually, believe it or not, this is a huge topic with data centers of all types. You know, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, all of them, and even down to your little data center players. This is a huge concern with them because it's one, they have to keep these things cool. Anyone who knows anything about technology, it runs hot. They got to keep it cool. So there's a lot they look into. How do they keep this thing powered without putting additional strain on the grid? How do they keep these things cooled without burning through all this water? How can they make this almost a renewable source for them so they could at least recycle some of the waste and byproduct that comes out of a data center, comes out of your computer and stuff like that, to at least help reduce that environmental impact. So there is a lot of huge concerns about it, but at the same time, it's also at the forefront of their minds, and along with, the talks of EVs and self-driving cars, right? So this is it's a huge game. I don't want to say game. It's a huge mental exercise that these different industries are actually now collaborating. What used to be those silos and people trying to do their own thing in this technology is now they're coming out of their silos. They're coming together to collaborate on these issues, because there's one thing that is for sure: when that power grid goes down, don't matter what business you're in, everyone's going to feel it. And especially, little known fact, your average Amazon server, if you pull out just one of those little things, they will lose a couple $100,000 every second that one cable is unplugged. Now imagine what happens if a data center starts collapsing. So yes, I don't have a solid answer other than they're working it. I've seen some designs that they want to try to use ocean water, but they got to tackle the erosion component of that. They want to use kinetic energy from like waves. Those who don't know, Europe is actually testing a solar farm in the ocean that not only collects solar from the sun out in the ocean, but it also collects kinetic energy from the waves to help power. It's low power, obviously, but it's something. And in Japan, they've actually made sidewalks where the kinetic energy of just people walking on it produces enough energy to power like the street lights and stuff like that. So when you start thinking about how the world is approaching this, they really are. They're taking it seriously because we only have one environment. So, but great question, and I hope I kind of got there.
Yeah, thank you, John. More than I could say. And although I want to say something, and I know Dr. Jeffrey has something maybe to contribute as well, that when a challenge comes up, because nothing's going to go perfect. Okay.
Right.
And so when a challenge comes up, then that invites us as the humans to think outside the box, to maybe even use AI to build, some 3D model, something like that and will it work effectively? Will it be efficient? And it'll streamline it easier. Although there will always be challenges. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's how we're addressing it. So coming together globally, focusing on, the better good for everyone. I think that's the key right there. What do you think, Dr. Jeffrey, about Jenny's question about AI and the environment?
Yeah, a very, very good question. And I want to go back to or start out with the Nikola Tesla, who was the engineer and the American inventor for creating that electricity, free electricity. And unfortunately, that didn't happen because of political and certain financial reasons because of the monopoly of electricity. And we do need to start looking at unique ways of generating electricity from an environmental protection perspective. I do know some people that I'm talking to now who are creating that and being able to come off of the grid for those that are the grid that is using the the fossil fuels, if you will, and looking at different technologies that will help facilitate that. So it is a big concern. And I don't think, there's pros and cons when it comes to the environment, and there's a lot of misinformation. There's some really good information out there. So it's really about getting out there and doing your research and looking at the true state of affairs, as I say. Because there's certain groups that have you believe this or are communicating this, and other groups are communicating this, and then I just sit back and evaluate. That was my that was my transition in 2015, because things weren't just registering with me, and I just stepped into doing my own due diligence because I was tired of listening to stuff that wasn't making sense. So that's what I encourage people to do, is get out there. But this is a concern, and it needs to be addressed. And I think that we're on a really good track with regards to finding some unique, unique solutions to getting this addressed and really taking care of and protecting the environment. And I can go into the chemtrails and all that kind of stuff. That's another story for another.
Yes.
Another interview. So,
Yeah.
But there you go.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dr.
sure.
Jeffrey. And
Absolutely.
Lisa, I really appreciate you talking about torn on the ethics. At the same
Yes.
time, it's not going anywhere. I think a lot of it is how we use it. I use it to work on, implicit biases better myself in many ways, not world destruction. So thank you.
I love
for
her
that.
point. I love that she brought that up, because I want to point out that there was once upon a time in our human history where everyone thought the printing press was the evilest thing imaginable. So keep that in mind. Yes, it happens, but she's right. There's ethics that go into how we utilize things. But, reverting back to the very beginning, April, as you said, it's what is our intention with this?
Right.
And
Yes.
then one thing I always warn people about is that sometimes intentions can lead you astray too. So make sure that we're staying grounded. We have good people around us that are diverse, that could give us different points of opinions and thoughts, because that's what really shapes it. When you get into that echo chamber, that's when the danger starts to happen.
Exactly. And thank you, Lisa, also for sharing about how your mental health has improved, as well as communication with others using AI, and how she works with survivors of interpersonal violence. So thank you for being here, and thank you for showing up and shining and sharing that's very personal. So we really appreciate you sharing that experience. I do have someone else here too, and that is Santiago. Santiago has a question that I want to bring up, and I'm trying to find it. Okay, here we go. Santiago, do you think software coding is now a dying career field now with AI? That is a good question.
So I'm an ex-software engineer.
Okay,
Tw-
Dr.
20
Jeffrey, you're on stage.
27 years, and right now I don't think it's a dying career field. It's opened up a new doors for new technology. Just like, again, going back to Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, they introduced their technologies back then. We're in a new era now, and it's about getting those new software coding experts who want to utilize AI, because you need to have those individuals to set up the platform. Yeah, it is changing. You can go out and say, well, I want to create this app that does blah, 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 push the button, and then the app is created. But who's doing the back end programming to that? That's those unique software engineers who are learning the innate, programmable techniques around AI, and there's a lot more to grow through that, because there are great things about AI, but there's also not some great things about AI, with it coming out today. So down the road, I don't know. I mean, it's really questionable. I've thought about that, but I want to stay away from there, because right now it is creating a lot of opportunity for people.
Yeah, and whatever we focus on, right, where our attention goes, energy flows. So how do
Yeah,
we want to interface with it? What do we want to focus on? Are we going to focus in the fear, or, because that's just from uncertainty. That's what fear is. It's
right,
trying to
right,
protect ourselves. I get it, right? That our
right.
minds are
Yeah,
really good at that, right? That
big
amygdala,
time, big
boop,
time.
pops on, and it's like, danger, danger, Will Robbins. Even talking
Right.
about that.
Yep.
He was a
Well,
robot.
the other thing I want to add to that, April, is, when I started out, I was doing the stamped cards and putting them in the machines for the mainframes. There were no personal computers. All right. Then personal computers came out. Now you had to have a floppy disk to boot the computer up back in the day. And then we went to personal laptops, and then we went to the WWW, the internet. Now we're in the W3, which is blockchain technology. So it's evolving. And where's it going to be 5 to 10 years from now? We don't know. We'll know in 5 or 10 years. But we see the progression of where it was to where it is today, and anything is possible for the future.
Mm, I love
Absolutely.
that.
And then back to his question, is coding dying? I actually say I'm telling people coding is actually technically in a transition phase right now because it is evolving,
Yeah,
right? Coding
perfect.
is not going to go away. It's not. Just like accounting didn't go away because Excel and a calculator came out, coding is not going
Ah,
to go away because there's
Yeah,
still back, like Dr. Berger said, there's still back end stuff to this, but again, because everything is in its infancy, this is the prime time to innovate and define and shape what the future of coding is. Because coding won't die either way. It might be
right.
more mainstreamed where, yes, you could hop on just, like given those examples, I could hop on, I could create an app right now and publish it. Right? Yes, it's there. But now we have to make things more intricate, more leveled up. Now we're going to really take it to the next level. And technology, if you look at it, in its as an industry is the fastest evolving accelerating industry ever. What took decades in like the excavator industry, for example, to go from cables to hydraulics, you know, um, has taken less than 2 decades with technology. How fast do you think we went from a mainframe to getting someone on the moon with, what was it, 4 megabytes of RAM, if that? I don't even think it was 4 kilobytes. But now we have gigabytes and terabytes in our pocket, on our desktop. So, in our laptops, at the tips of our fingers. So it's prime. All those coders out there, I highly recommend you shape the future of what coding looks like. And guess what? But here's the cool thing. Now you're going to take it to other industries because now you could take it to Hollywood. You're going to have what going from animation, hand drawing stuff to now there's going to eventually be a category in film where it's AI produced stuff because it still takes human ingenuity to create it, to develop it, to form that story. Same thing with music. Yes, you could create music now, but you could break into an industry with that. So think of the future, and now's your time to experiment and shape and have fun with it, especially while it's free.
exactly. I love that. And it really is about how we are seeing it through our own lens, and what do we want to co-create with it. That's what it's all about. And I just want to, really appreciate Lisa and Jenny and Mike Asherbrander being here, and Claudia, she showed up as well, and Santiago, and also, of course, Sabrina. Thank you all for being here in the Hounds of Business. We really appreciate your contribution. And think about it right now, everyone. This is AI. We're interfacing with AI. This couldn't happen any other way. And I call this the stone soup of collective consciousness. So as we're tapping into this conversation and we're aligning with that frequency and matching this frequency here, this is how we are here on this stage. So I so appreciate this conversation. Yes. Any last tidbits you want to share about what's coming up for you, each of you? And then, of course, how can people connect with you? Because we're coming up at the top of the hour. I want to make sure we give enough time for you all to share how you're expanding.
Sure. Thanks, April. So I do have webinars that I host on a monthly basis to get information out there and share. I open it up to Q&A at the end. I provide some materials beforehand so they're a little bit prepared coming into that environment. And really, my main goal is to pay it forward. I've been blessed in many, many ways. After some financial devastation in my own life and being introduced to other opportunities, if you will. And I want to share that with the masses. For those that are looking, you've got to be looking to diversify and want to move ahead, because so many people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I do monthly webinars. I'll throw the links in the comments area after the show so people can connect with me. And it's really all for the betterment of humanity, because a lot of people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I talk about here with abundance and optimum wellness, circumvent the system. My journey started with coming off of 5 medications by going from Western medicine to holistic, exploring holistic options. That got me out of that. And then in 2022, making a radical change to taking a finance first approach to holistic financial fitness. And that, again, is getting away from our corrupt and broken systems that the masses are not benefiting from. And we want to get into a decentralized area where we have more control over our destiny. And that's what I've learned since 2022. And it's been an incredible ride. I'm riding the rocket here. Building daily cash flow assets every day. The money keeps coming in. The money keeps coming in. So a new project that I came on board with. So very exciting times for those that I encourage to explore, to get educated and step into that zone and just start learning about what's out there today that can make significant game-changing opportunities for you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks,
Yes,
John.
and I want to say to everyone who's listening here and who is listening later that Dr. Jeffrey is amazing at breaking it all down, because I had no idea what all this stuff was. And I wasn't ignorant. I was curious, as we said in the very beginning, becoming curious. And I trust Dr. Jeffrey because he's also a fellow Hounds member. And I know that Mike Asherbranner wouldn't work with him if it wasn't legit. So I had a call with Dr. Jeffrey and he broke it all down, sent videos, all the things to answer. And then no pressure. He's like, and if you want to make that choice, I'm here for you. That's what I love about you, Dr. Jeffrey. You are amazing. You're soul-hearted. You really show up authentically and you truly believe in what you're doing. And that makes a huge difference. So thank you, my friend, for being here.
One more quick thing. Thank you so much, April. Abundance and optimum wellness. I started this in 2018 with the belief that we need the tools and the resources to be able to create a lifestyle to live on abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And I stand firm with that belief. And I want to share it. I want to pay it forward with others who resonate with that message. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, John, what do you have to share? What's coming up for you and how can you support others? And I'll put your contact information up there as well.
Absolutely. So actually, there you had a comment that posted up there. I think it was Anchor, and I apologize if I butcher your name. I'm a pro at butchering names, but he was talking about mental health.
And yes, let me bring it up.
Yep, right there. So he hits it dead on, and especially this is something that I actually utilize in my veterans communities. We are beta testing a few different AI models to better mental health. So those whoever want to connect with me, I would love to share you about the veterans programs I do and the self-sustaining communities I build. And a lot of those communities, actually, we have a special spot in for people of domestic violence, right? Or people who are coming out of the prison system with other issues. So, but with the mental health aspect, yes, the AI can be utilized amazing for that. And one of the things we are experimenting with is a few different platforms and how we could utilize it. And we're working with local hospitals, we're working with local mental health providers to kind of like train and shape what it feeds, how it discusses. But the most important one with our prime one right now is that if you hit certain junctions, it will put a live person on there for you, like a live licensed professional to help. So yes, the future and what we could use with that is coming, especially because mental health is a hard career field to bring people in because there's a lot of schooling that goes with it, and it's kind of like education, and it's unfortunately we as a society are not putting our best efforts into it. But with that, so I got a lot of big things coming up. We're building these sustainable communities. We're pushing for a big grant in California right now. So anyone who's in California would love to connect with you, talk about what's coming up. We're doing our Tennessee one, and we're trying to break into Texas as well as Virginia, where I'm at. But we're going to get everywhere. But I need the support. I need the help. But I want to help you guys out too, because we are at a great point of the future to start shaping the future how we want it and innovating. So I want to help you out. I want to be your cheerleader, your champion, and I want to support you as well. So please, connect with me on LinkedIn. We'll set up a time to talk. I ain't here to sell you anything. We're here to just make the future a better place for everyone.
That's amazing. You are amazing, John. He really is. He's very humble. John he's a veteran himself and has been through quite a bit in his life. And him showing up and shining for other veterans, being that way shower, that catalyst, opening doors. You're just truly amazing. So thank you for being here. Thank you, each of you. This has been a very stimulating conversation. Everybody is very excited. And Jenny even is saying, I'm sharing this video with all my AI reluctant friends. Thank you, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
That means a lot. That means a lot coming from Jenny. I'm serious.
Awesome.
I love you, Jenny. It's been a bit. We need to connect. Now I'm back in Iowa. So yes, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for everybody who tuned in and who is watching in the future as well, as we are learning to expand. We're learning to be maybe a little uncomfortable, but this is growth. This is understanding how it's a tool to work for us, and being that it's an extension of us. And as we've had amazing comments here about mental health and even remodeling kitchens and other things that have come in, we need to remember that this is here to support us. So thank you both, Jeffrey and John, for being here. Please reach out to both of these amazing souls and see how they can support you as well, or your community, because as we're the ripple effect. So as we feel supported, we feel more confident using AI, whether it is a job or investment, then that ripples out to our family, to our community, and everybody benefits. So enjoy the rest of your day, my friends. Keep living with
Bye, everyone.
intention, and we will see you next time. Be well.